Let's listen to our friend Francois from Montreal. Welcome back, Francois.
David, sir, it's nice to talk to you again.
Likewise.
I was listening to your award-winning bonus show where you want to make money.
Yes,
It sounds like you had quite the Montreal trip.
it was a beautiful trip. I've been to Montreal 20 times, and it's really great. I met up with MP Anthony Housefather, who represents the western part of Montreal. He watches the show. We went for a beautiful walk and talked about Canadian politics and so many different things. The food was great. I had some great pastries and visited family. It was just a great trip.
Yeah, well, I'm bummed I wasn't in town all of last week, but I would have loved to run into you. Sounds like you met up with lots of different people, but I would
It was,
say it's,
I would come out of a dep, as you guys call them, and people would be
of
there
course.
saying, David, sir, welcome. And then where else was I? I was on the street at one point, walking up and down, urgently looking for a place to go to dinner before my daughter completely threw a temper tantrum. And someone came up to me and said, David, hey. And it was just all over the place. It was wild.
So it's fair to say you experienced many elements from the standpoint of Montreal, I think.
I could not possibly deny that. Yeah.
All right. Well, actually, it's funny. My question relates a bit to what you were just talking about. I thought that was quite interesting that you spent some time with Anthony Housefather.
Yeah.
So I guess, did you meet just from him being a fan of your show?
Yeah, we just follow each other on Twitter, and I told him I'm going to be in town, and he said let's meet up.
Oh, cool. So you guys talk about some, I guess, U.S. politics, Canadian politics, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, all completely informally.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I mean, I know American politics is obviously your specialty, but I'd be definitely interested in hearing more of your thoughts on Canadian politics maybe one day, or maybe next time we have an election, do a little bit of
Yeah,
coverage
I
of
mean,
that.
I don't know. There's so many people far better suited to comment on it. I don't want to be out of my lane. Like, who am I to comment on Canadian politics? I mean, I can,
Well, we could use a David Pakman in Canada, like a similar sort of progressive
that's
online
fair.
podcast show. That would be nice.
That's
So
fair. That's
maybe you guys can
absolutely
get a
fair.
get like an on the ground Canadian beat going, since I know you spend a lot of time up in Montreal.
Yeah,
Who
I
knows?
would consider doing that. Yeah. Listen, where are you on poutine at this point? Pro or against?
Oh, of course I'm pro poutine, but it's
You're
got to
pro.
be, it's I don't like to mess with it too much. I know there's a lot of people. I mean, La Banquise, you've probably heard of it, possibly you've been there. One of the more famous poutine establishments.
What was the name of it?
They, La Banquise, B
Oh,
A
I have
N
not been.
Q
No, I've not
U
heard of
I S
that.
E. Oh, really? Okay. Well, it's definitely considered the more like highly recommended tourist poutine place. It's in the plateau.
Oh, see, I don't want tourist poutine. I want local
So
poutine.
that's the thing. Well, I mean, it is a local place. It's not like it's a chain or anything. But
Yeah.
my opinion on poutine's evolved a lot over the years. I used to like that place, but that's they kind of go a little bit crazy with it. You can get poutines with all sorts of meat on it. I think there's like a Mexican one that comes with
Oh, they're
guacamole.
completely adulterating it.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
The older I get and the more poutines I have, the more I want to stick to just a real classic
Yeah.
fries, real hot gravy. Get the squeaky cheese
I
nice and
agree.
melted.
There's places that are completely bastardizing your pastrami on rye with mustard, and they start doing all sorts of extraneous toppings and wild things. It's like what's good about it is the simplicity. You put it on either rye, marble rye, or pumpernickel. You've got your pastrami. You've got deli mustard. If you want Swiss on it, that's fine. But we don't need to go crazy just because it's 2022.
Couldn't agree more. What's your take on Schwartz's?
I tried to go to Schwartz's when I was just in Montreal. The line was 2 blocks, and I have got a 12-week-old daughter. So I had to abort the trip over there.
Understandable. Well, let
Yeah.
me give you a little tip. Maybe, I don't know if you noticed this when you were there, but there's actually two doors. There's the main door that the lineup is going into. There's a door right next to it that doesn't often have a line. It's for the takeout, but there's actually even tables to eat in the takeout establishment.
Is that right?
Little local tip for you next time you're here.
I'm gonna have to examine that now. With just one other Montreal thing, I used to love this cocktail bar, Big in Japan. Are you familiar with that?
I live right around the corner from where it used to be.
Right, and it seems that it's just gone.
I believe it is. There
Yeah.
were two locations at one point. One was the cocktail bar, one was the restaurant. I think only the restaurant remains, although I might be mistaken about that too.
Yeah.
We'll have to look into it very strongly.
Well, I found another one. There's a cocktail bar called the Cold Room where you have to send a text and they let you in some filthy back door and through the back of some restaurant. And all of a
Oh yeah.
sudden this beautiful cocktail bar opens up like in like the double basement of some place.
Yeah, that was you said you were staying down there, right, in the Old Port?
I was in the old
That's
port. Yep.
that's
Yep. Yep.
yeah, I'm surprised a veteran of Montreal travel like yourself would stay down there, and I'm not surprised to hear about that whole debacle that unfolded.
Yeah, here's the
That's
thing.
pretty
I've
standard
completely
fare for the Old Port.
outgrown the Old Port neighborhood. I really like St. Henry. I thought that was a, kind of Brooklyn-like neighborhood, and there's all these other areas, but just because of what I was doing and the people I was visiting, it was the most convenient place.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
sometimes you have to make sacrifices.
It was a sacrifice. It was a sacrifice. All right, my friend. Well, thank
Well,
you for the call.
yeah, pleasure
All
to
right,
speak
there
with you
we
as
go.
always.
Francois from Montreal. Great to hear from him.